Let me tell you something about humans. They are supposed to be simple, predictable, easy to control. At least, that's what the Grand Dominion Council told us when they assigned me to this backwater solar system. Congratulations, Commander Vizak. Your first planetary acquisition. Don't worry, these humans are practically begging to be conquered. They will hand over their resources without even realizing what's happening. Hey, right. I should have known better. 27 successful infiltrations across 17 star systems, and not once had it been easy. But humans? They looked so fragile, so chaotic and disorganized. Their global communication networks were filled with videos of them doing ridiculous, self-harming stunts for attention. They elected leaders based on who could shout the loudest. They poisoned their own atmosphere while arguing about whether they were actually poisoning their own atmosphere. Seriously, how hard could it be? Commander, the first phase reports are complete. I turned from the observation viewport to see Lieutenant Pajuri standing at attention, her violet skin flushed with the pale blue of excitement. Fresh from the academy, this was her first conquest too. The poor thing still believed the propaganda. And? I prompted, gesturing for her to continue. Infiltration teams report 94% successful placement in target institutions. The financial markets, media outlets, energy production facilities, and major governing bodies all have our agents in advisory positions. We are already influencing decision-making in 78% of what they call nations. I nodded, taking the data tablet from her three-fingered hand. The numbers looked good. Too good, actually. Any resistance? I asked, scrolling through the data. Minimal, sir. A few humans with unusual perceptual abilities detected our agents, but they were quickly discredited as conspiracy theorists by their own media. And our resource extraction preparations? Pazuri's dorsal spines quivered with pride. Already underway, sir. We have established 43 shell corporations to begin harvesting rare earth elements. Humans actually help us dig them up for a currency they call money. Can you believe it? I couldn't, actually, and that was starting to worry me. What about Specialist Morg's cultural analysis? Any updates? Pazuri's expression shifted, her facial ridges contracting slightly. Yes, sir. Specialist Morg has requested a private meeting with you. He said his findings were concerning. Of course he did. Morg always found something concerning. That's why I'd assigned him to culture rather than something important like weapons assessment. The paranoid old Zilbex saw threats in children's nursery rhymes. Fine, send him in. And Pazuri, start drafting the Phase 2 protocols. If things continue at this pace, we might be ahead of schedule. Yes, Commander. The Grand Dominion will be most pleased with our efficiency. She saluted, tapping her chest twice with her fist before backing out of my office. I turned back to the viewport, gazing down at the blue-green marble hanging in space. Earth, such an unimaginative name for a planet, just named after dirt. Still, it was rich in resources the Dominion needed, particularly the heavy metals in its core and the biological diversity of its biosphere. A standard acquisition, really. Infiltrate, manipulate, extract and leave the native species none the wiser. The door chimed, interrupting my thoughts. Enter. Enter. Specialist Morg shuffled in, his ancient frame hunched over a cluster of data tablets. His scales had long ago faded from vibrant purple to a dull lavender, and his eyes had sunk deep into his skull. But those eyes, they missed nothing. Commander Vizak, he wheezed, not bothering with a salute. We have a problem. We have 94% successful infiltration and minimal resistance, I countered. Whatever problem you have found, I'm sure it's manageable. Morg dropped his tablets onto my desk with a clatter. Humans aren't what they seem, Commander. I sighed. They never are, Morg. No species is exactly what our initial assessments suggest. That's why we have specialists like you to help us adjust our approach. No, you don't understand. He activated one of the tablets, projecting a series of human entertainment videos into the air between us. Look at this. Really look. I watched, confused. The projections showed various human fictional narratives, humans fighting off alien invasions, humans outsmarting more technologically advanced species, humans forming unlikely alliances to overcome cosmic threats. It's just entertainment, Morg. Fantasy. Every sentient species creates stories about overcoming outside threats. It helps them process their own existential anxieties. 2843. What? What? That's how many unique narratives I have catalogued where humans defeat alien conquerors. 2843. Dating back over a century before they achieved spaceflight. I shrugged. So they are paranoid. That's good for us. Paranoid species are easier to manipulate. They see threats everywhere, so they miss the real one right in front of them. Morg shook his head vigorously. No, no, no. You are not listening. They are not just telling stories. They are rehearsing. That got my attention. Rehearsing? Look at this one. He pulled up another projection. A human narrative about microscopic aliens infiltrating human institutions. This was created 60 Earth years ago. The fictional aliens use almost the exact same infiltration protocols we are using now. Coincidence, I said, but a small knot of doubt had formed in my gut. And this one. Another projection. Aliens disguised as humans, secretly harvesting Earth's resources. 50 Earth years ago. Morg. These are just, and this. Aliens manipulating human financial systems to weaken Earth's economy before invasion. 40 Earth years ago. Enough. I slammed my fist on the desk. What exactly are you suggesting, specialist? That humans are somehow what? Psychic? That they have known about us for decades? Morg leaned forward, his ancient eyes gleaming. I'm suggesting, Commander, that we are not as original as we think. That maybe, just maybe, humans have been thinking about how they'd be conquered for a very long time. And maybe they have been thinking about how they'd fight back, too. I laughed, but it sounded hollow even to me. Morg, they don't even know we exist. Our cloaking technology is perfect. Our infiltration agents are identical to humans down to the cellular level. Then explain this. He activated another tablet. The projection showed one of our infiltration agents, Specialist Dreb, positioned as a human financial advisor to a wealthy human. The human was saying something that made my scales tighten. You know, said the human, casually sipping from a glass of fermented grape juice. It's funny. All these investment recommendations you have made, they all seem to focus on mining operations and rare earth elements. And they all seem to benefit the same obscure parent companies, companies that didn't exist 2 years ago. Dreb's human disguise showed no reaction, but I could tell he was nervous. Those sectors show the greatest potential for growth, Mr. Takahashi. I'm simply trying to maximize your returns. The human Takahashi smiled, but it wasn't a friendly smile. It reminded me of a predator I'd once encountered on Vex Prime, right before it tried to eat me. Of course you are, Peter. Takahashi set down his glass. Tell me, have you always had that slight shimmer around your ears when you are nervous? It's almost iridescent. The recording ended abruptly. That was 3 days ago, Morg said. Dreb reported that the meeting went well. He didn't mention this conversation. I felt cold. Where is Dreb now? Unknown. He missed his last 2 check-ins. I stood up, suddenly finding it hard to breathe in the artificial Earth normal atmosphere of my office. One human got suspicious. That doesn't mean. It's not just one. Morg activated another tablet. Then another. And another. Each showed similar scenes. Humans noticing small inconsistencies in our agents. Asking pointed questions. Making connections we thought they wouldn't make. How many? I asked, my voice barely a whisper. 17 confirmed cases of humans spotting our infiltrators. Probably more we don't know about yet. Morg's expression was grim. And there's something else. Something worse. What could possibly be worse? Our financial algorithms detected anomalous patterns in human investment behaviors, specifically in the sectors where we have established our shell corporations. Humans are buying up controlling interests through a complex network of proxy companies. Companies that, when you trace the ownership back far enough, don't seem to be owned by anyone. I collapsed back into my chair. They are using our own strategy against us. It appears so, and they are doing it better. Morgue activated one final projection. A human news broadcast from just 6 hours ago. Breaking news tonight, announced the human journalist. In an unprecedented move, the Global Resource Protection Act has been simultaneously introduced in 42 countries. The legislation would place strict new controls on mining operations, particularly those involving rare earth elements, and would require unprecedented transparency in corporate ownership. The bill's sponsors say it's aimed at preventing resource exploitation by hostile foreign interests. The projection showed a human standing at a podium, addressing a crowd. The caption identified her as Dr. Amanda Torres, astrophysicist. We have known for some time that Earth's resources would be attractive to any space-faring civilization, Torres was saying. It's why we have been quietly preparing countermeasures for decades. The recent surge in mysterious corporate acquisitions and resource-focused investments matches exactly the patterns our models predicted for a Type EE infiltration scenario. The journalist looked confused. Dr. Torres, are you suggesting that aliens are trying to steal Earth's resources? Torres smiled. That same predatory smile Takahashi had shown. I'm suggesting that if I were an advanced civilization looking to acquire resources without the messy business of open conquest, I'd do exactly what we are seeing now. And I'm also suggesting that we have been planning for this possibility for longer than they think. I shut off the projection, my hands shaking. Morgue, I said slowly, get me everything we have on this Dr. Torres. And I want a complete reassessment of our infiltration protocols. If the humans are onto us, we need to know how much they know. There's one more thing, Commander. Morgue looked even more worried, if that was possible. The Dominion Council is expecting our first resource shipment in 30 days. If we don't deliver. He didn't need to finish. We both knew the penalty for failure. The Dominion didn't tolerate excuses. We will figure it out, I said with more confidence than I felt. Humans may be more perceptive than we anticipated, but they are still just humans, primitive, divided, and outmatched. Morgue gathered his tablets. I hope you are right, Commander. First for all our sakes. After he left, I turned back to the viewport, studying the planet below with new eyes. This Dr. Torres troubled me. How could she know about our infiltration patterns, about Type EI acquisition scenarios? Those were classified Dominion protocols. Unless. Then. No. Impossible. Humans couldn't have captured one of our ships, couldn't have accessed our databases. We would know. My communicator chimed. Commander Vizak? Lieutenant Pazuri here. We have just received an emergency transmission from Infiltration Team 7. Their cover is blown. Local authorities are raiding their facility as we speak. I closed my eyes. Contain it. Use the standard private security contractor cover story. Sir, that's just it. The humans aren't buying it. They specifically mentioned extraterrestrial infiltration in their warrant. And sir? They are using scanning technology that can detect our cellular differences. Technology we have never seen before. The knot in my gut tightened. How many teams are compromised? A pause. All of them, sir. Reports are coming in from everywhere. It's like they just flipped a switch and suddenly they can see us. I stared at Earth, this unassuming blue-green planet that was rapidly becoming my worst nightmare. Get everyone back to the ship. Now. Sir? What about the mission? What about it, indeed? 30 days until the Dominion expected results. 30 days to figure out how a supposedly primitive species had not only detected our presence but had apparently been preparing for us for decades. The mission parameters have changed, Lieutenant. We are no longer dealing with a standard acquisition. Get everyone back to the ship and prepare for emergency protocols. Yes, Commander. As her communication ended, I couldn't tear my eyes away from Earth. Down there, right now, humans were hunting my agents. Humans who somehow knew we were coming. Humans who had been waiting for us. The most terrifying question wasn't how they knew. It was what else they knew, what else they had prepared for, and most importantly, what they planned to do about it. Because one thing was becoming increasingly clear, we hadn't infiltrated Earth. Earth had infiltrated us. And I had 30 days to figure out how to survive what came next. 27 days left. 27 days until the Dominion Council expected results I couldn't deliver. 27 days until my career and probably my life ended. Status report? I barked, entering the command center of our cloaked mothership. The atmosphere was tense, our usual confident efficiency replaced by nervous glances and twitching appendages. Lieutenant Pazuri approached, her normally impeccable posture now slightly hunched. Sir, evacuation of infiltration teams is at 62% completion. We have lost contact with 23 agents. Lost contact or lost agents? I asked, already knowing the answer. Both, sir. 17 agents confirmed captured by human authorities. Six are simply gone. I fought to keep my facial scales from flaring in alarm. Gone? Explain. Pazuri's voice dropped. Their bio-trackers went offline simultaneously. There were no distress signals, no indication of technical malfunction. No, they just vanished. Around us, the command center buzzed with frantic activity. Tactical officers coordinated extraction points. Communications specialists intercepted human broadcasts. Intelligence analysts pored over human news networks, searching for any mention of captured agents. What about our shell corporations? Our resource acquisition facilities? Pazuri's skin paled slightly. Frozen, sir. All accounts suspended pending investigation. The humans are using their legal systems against us, something called antitrust violations and foreign interference statutes. I slammed my fist onto the nearest console, causing several junior officers to jump. How? How did they know? We have performed 48 successful planetary acquisitions, and not once has a pre-spaceflight civilization detected us before resource extraction was complete. No one answered. No one had to. The evidence was mounting by the hour. Humans weren't like the other species we'd encountered. Commander? A new voice belonging to Tactical Officer Jorub. You should see this. I moved to his station. On his screen was a human news broadcast showing footage of one of our captured agents being escorted by human security forces. The agent, Specialist Tulag, was still in his human disguise, but something was wrong. The disguise was glitching, flickering to reveal glimpses of his true Zilbex form. What am I looking at, Officer Jorub? How is his molecular disguise failing? Jorub looked sick. They are using some kind of targeted electromagnetic pulse, sir. It's disrupting our bio-camouflage technology without harming their own electronics. That's impossible, I whispered. That technology is based on principles their science shouldn't even comprehend yet. Sir, Pazuri interjected. There's more. Dr. Torres is giving another press conference. The main view screen activated, showing the human scientist from the previous broadcast. She stood calmly at a podium surrounded by what appeared to be military and scientific personnel from multiple human nations. As of 0600 hours this morning, Torres was saying, Operation Starshield has successfully identified and neutralized 43 extraterrestrial infiltrators across 27 countries, lead to our visitors hiding in orbit. She looked directly at the camera, almost as if she could see us. Yes, we know you are there. Yes, we have known about your kind for decades. And yes, we have been preparing. The knot in my gut tightened painfully. How could she know we were in orbit? Our cloaking technology was flawless. Torres continued, we intercepted one of your scout ships 63 years ago. Only the crew self-terminated. but the ship's database remained intact. It took us decades to decrypt it, but when we did, she smiled that predatory smile again. Well, let's just say your Grand Dominion isn't as mysterious to us as you might think. The command center fell silent. 63 years ago? That would have been, I checked our mission logs frantically. Scout ship X-419, listed as lost to a spatial anomaly. The Dominion had written it off as a navigational error, but the humans had found it, studied it. It prepared for us. Sir, Specialist Morg appeared at my side, his ancient face more drawn than ever. I have analyzed their counter-infiltration methods. They are using our own technology against us. Technology they shouldn't have been able to reverse engineer for at least another century. Clearly we underestimated them, I growled. No, sir, it's more than that. Morg lowered his voice. They have improved upon our technology. That EM pulse targeting our biocamouflage? It's more sophisticated than anything the Dominion has developed. And their detection methods, they are scanning for quantum entanglement patterns unique to Zilbek's physiology. Even our best scientists haven't weaponized that concept. My head spun. This wasn't just a primitive species getting lucky. This was something else entirely. Commander Pazuri called urgently. Human military vessels are changing positions. But they are forming a perimeter around major population centers and, sir, they are looking up, directly at our position. That's not possible, I snapped. Our cloaking is compromised, interrupted Chief Engineer Dravex, rushing into the command center. They are bombarding us with precisely modulated tachyon pulses. It's creating a detection field that reveals our position. As if to confirm his assessment, the ship shuddered violently. What was that? I demanded. A kinetic impact, shouted Jorub. They have fired some kind of projectile at us? Minimal damage, but sir, they hit us with pinpoint accuracy. Another impact, harder this time, shields at 86%, reported the defense officer. These aren't random shots, Commander. They are targeting our propulsion systems. I stared at the view screen, watching as tiny points of light human missiles arced up from Earth's surface toward our position. Not enough to destroy us, but enough to trap us here. They are not trying to destroy us, I realized aloud. They are trying to keep us from leaving. Sir, Pazuri's voice was barely a whisper now. Incoming transmission. From Earth. They are requesting to speak with the ship's commander. For a moment I considered refusing. Considered ordering a full attack on the human forces. We still had superior firepower. We could still cause significant damage. But that wasn't the mission. The Dominion wanted Earth's resources, not a charred wasteland. And something told me the humans knew that too. Put it through, I said, straightening my posture. First contact situations were always delicate, even when they occurred at gunpoint. The view screen shifted to show Dr. Torres, now seated in what appeared to be a military command center of some kind. Flanking her were human military officials and what I assumed were scientists. Commander Torres greeted me, showing no surprise at my non-human appearance. Thank you for accepting our call. You seem to have me at a disadvantage, Dr. Torres, I replied, keeping my voice level. You know who we are, while we apparently know very little about you. Torres smiled. On the contrary, Commander Vizak, your infiltration teams gathered quite a lot of data about us. The problem is they gathered exactly what we wanted them to see. My blood ran cold. You knew we were here from the beginning. Of course. Your ship entered our solar system 94 days ago. We detected your warp signature as soon as you dropped out of faster-than-light travel. By the way, your cloaking technology could use some improvement. The quantum fluctuations are detectable with the right equipment. Around me, I could sense my crew's growing horror. This wasn't happening. Couldn't be happening. What do you want? I asked, trying to reclaim some control of the situation. That's a better question to ask yourselves, Commander. You came here for our resources, specifically our rare earth elements and heavy metals. You intended to extract them quietly, without us noticing, using your standard infiltration and manipulation playbook. She gestured, and the screen beside her displayed an exact copy of our mission parameters, word for word. Classified Dominion directives that no pre-spaceflight civilization should possess. As you can see, Torres continued, we are well aware of your intentions. We are also aware of your deadline. The Dominion Council expects results in, she checked something off screen, 27 days, and failure, as your own directives state, is not an acceptable outcome. I fought to keep my expression neutral, but inside, panic was building. They knew everything, absolutely everything. So here's our proposal, Torres said, her tone shifting to something almost conversational. You need resources. We have resources. Let's negotiate a trade agreement. I blinked, certain I'd misheard. A trade agreement? Yes, like civilized species do, we provide you with the rare earth elements you need in exchange for certain technologies and knowledge, specifically medical advancements and sustainable energy solutions. I laughed, a harsh sound that reflected my disbelief. You expect the Dominion to trade with a primitive species? To treat you as equals? Torres' expression hardened. Let me be perfectly clear, Commander. We have captured your agents. We have compromised your ship. We have demonstrated capabilities your intelligence assessments claimed were centuries beyond us. You are not dealing with the primitive species you expected. Another human, a stern-looking military officer, leaned into view. And if you are considering a direct military approach, be advised that we have analyzed your weapons capabilities. While your ship could cause significant damage, our planetary defense systems would ensure your destruction before you could inflict casualties beyond acceptable parameters. Acceptable parameters? I echoed, stunned by the cold calculation. These weren't the emotional, irrational humans our briefings had described. We have run the simulations, Commander, Torres said simply. Thousands of them. In every scenario where you choose aggression, both sides lose. But in scenarios where we cooperate, both sides benefit. The Dominion doesn't cooperate, I said, though my conviction was wavering. We acquire, we extract. And how's that working out for you right now? Torres countered. Your infiltration has failed. Your resource extraction operations are shut down. Your ship is damaged and surrounded. And your deadline is approaching. She leaned forward. But we are offering you a way to succeed, to return to the Dominion with the resources you need and a new trading partner that can provide more in the future. Surely that's preferable to returning empty-handed, or not returning at all. I glanced around the command center. My crew watched me, awaiting my decision, a decision that would determine not just our fates, but potentially the relationship between humanity and the Dominion for generations to come. What guarantee do I have that this isn't a trap? I asked. That you won't simply destroy our ship once we agree? Torres' expression softened slightly. The same guarantee we have that you won't return with a battle fleet once you leave. Trust, Commander Vizak. The beginning of any meaningful relationship between species. We have studied your history, I countered. Humans don't exactly have a stellar record of peaceful cooperation even among yourselves. True, Torres acknowledged. We are flawed, complicated, sometimes violent and short-sighted. But we are also adaptable, innovative, and surprisingly difficult to conquer. You have learned that firsthand, haven't you? I couldn't argue with that. In my 26 cycles of service to the Dominion, I'd never encountered a species that had detected our infiltration so quickly, let alone counteracted it so effectively. The terms of this trade agreement, I said slowly. They would need to be acceptable to the Dominion Council. Of course. We have drafted a preliminary proposal based on our understanding of Dominion protocols. Torres gestured again, and a document appeared on my command console. You will find the resource quantities meet your mission parameters, while the requested technologies are carefully selected to avoid giving us any significant military advantage. I scanned the document, my amazement growing. The humans had thought of everything. They were offering exactly what we needed, asking for technology that would help them but wouldn't threaten the Dominion, and even proposing a long-term relationship that would benefit both sides. "You have been planning this for some time," I observed. "Since we found your scout ship," Torres confirmed. "We had 63 years to consider how first contact might go. We prepared for war, obviously, but we also prepared for peace." The command center was silent as everyone waited for my decision. Attack and likely die. Retreat and definitely face execution by the Dominion, or take a chance on this unprecedented third option. "Lieutenant Pazzuri," I said finally, "open a secure channel to the Dominion Council. I need to discuss a change in mission parameters." Torres smiled, a genuine expression this time. "A wise choice, Commander. For what it's worth, I believe this is the beginning of something important, something neither of our species fully anticipated." As Pazzuri hurried to establish the connection, I found myself wondering if Torres was right. The Dominion had conquered or manipulated dozens of species across the galaxy, always following the same playbook, always seeing other life forms as resources to be exploited rather than potential allies. But humans had rewritten our playbook. They'd seen us coming, prepared accordingly, and then offered cooperation instead of simply destroying us when they had the chance. It was unprecedented. "Channel established, sir," Pazzuri reported. "The Council is waiting." I took a deep breath, composing my thoughts. This would be the most important report of my career. I needed to make the Council understand that humans weren't like other species, but standard protocols had failed. That adaptation was necessary. "Patch them through," I ordered. As the stern faces of the Dominion Council appeared on screen, I realized something that almost made me laugh. After all this time conquering the galaxy, the Dominion had finally met a species that thought like we did, that planned like we did, that could see steps ahead in the cosmic game. We had thought humanity was easy to manipulate until they outsmarted us. And somehow, against all odds, that made me respect them more than any species we'd encountered before. Perhaps this trade agreement wouldn't be such a bad idea after all.